Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here, my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Because without you guys, I wouldn't have been flying down the interstate to get back home so I could get back for my live stream. And unfortunately, I'm not really dressed for it. Just literally walked in the door, didn't even have a chance to wash my hands or even take a shower. So, just like my Cowboys the last 2 weeks, I'm stinking. So, a little late. Sorry about that. It'll be a little bit shorter. I literally just got finished with my day job. Thought I was going to be working a bit later, so I was actually going to live stream from the job site. But the electricians, of course, an Eagle fan who was just happy as could be, and a Green Bay Packer fan who was kind of depressed. They weren't getting a whole lot of work done tonight, so I just kind of said the heck with it. But I want to thank all you guys. Oh, Joe Boo's right here. Joe Boo's cam is right here, or right there in the corner is the Joe Boo cam, or that corner. There you go. Everything's backwards over here. Okay, so it's been a hellacious week for our Dallas Cowboys. We are literally back to work now without Zeke Elliott. And at this point, guys, I know I say never give up. I always say you don't fail unless you stop trying. But right now, we're only hoping against hope that Zeke Elliott's suspension is vacated. It's gone to frickin' New York. And we know what happens in frickin' New York when it comes to the NFL. They don't like Dallas in New York. Once it got out of the hands of the Texas court, it was lost. The odds of beating the NFL at their own game were slim and none. We got lucky at least to get 6 games in, but in the end, we're going to pay. And looking back at it and talking with Michael said originally when the season started, Zeke just needs to sit down. Needs to take a lesson. Even if he's not guilty of that situation, he still put himself out there in places that he shouldn't have. That's true. But, like Kyle Willis says, Joe Boo needs a refill. And let's see. Running low up here. Because it's been a rough week. Got to go to the liquor store for Joe Boo. Here's the thing. When I saw that this weekend that he had a temporary stay, so he might be able to play one more game, or maybe 2, or who knows what. This dangling, this distraction, this whole thing is just ugly for everyone out there. There is no winners. Even if Zeke Elliott sits down, the NFL has already lost. They look like complete assholes. They look like they are literally stringing up a man who's not guilty. They look like they have a personal vendetta against him and the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones. Tiffany, the accuser. I'm sure everybody's knocking her door right now to be her man, aren't they? She looks bad. Zeke Elliott, with all the information that we just didn't really need to know about his college life and things like that, nobody looks good. Had he taken the suspension in the beginning, he'd been sitting out this week against the 49ers, and then we would have had him for the rest of the season. I mean, we're 2-3 right now, so it's not like we won a lot of games because we had Zeke Elliott. But now the problem is you got 2 games against the Redskins and a game against the Eagles, which are going to be critical if we have a chance at winning our division. We're going to miss him on those games. Those games are more important than any other game because they're in your division. You win, boom. It's like 2 games. And that's how we catch up with the Eagles. So we keep on playing with this, keep trying to get injunction after injunction and kicking it off, putting it down the road and everything else. We might actually get into a position where maybe we're ready to go to playoffs. And then all of a sudden it hits without him down that stretch. I say, take it now. Be done with it so we don't have to talk about it anymore. We don't have to deal with it anymore. It's not in the news anymore. Zeke, You take a breather, you get yourself back in shape, you get your mind right, and you get ready to roll with a vengeance to go down the stretch. What's up with Rico? Rico is eligible to come back and start practicing actually this week. He'd be eligible to play after week 8. And Tony, I'm with you. Smith shows a lot of promise. And here's the thing. When the Cowboys were talking about looking to trade for another running back, I'm like, are you kidding me? You're not going to find somebody of Zeke's quality that you're going to trade for any reasonable price, and nobody's going to get rid of a back of that quality. And Zeke Elliott hasn't exactly been lighting up the NFL. He's only averaging 3.7 yards a carry. So unless the running back you are trading for also plays linebacker and D-back, I say you go with the guys that you have. Alfred Morris, haven't had a whole lot of miles on him lately, but he's actually looked pretty good in the few plays he's played. Darren McFadden, his elbow is definitely recovered from diving for the cell phone. And Rod Smith can catch the ball out of the backfield. You go by committee. And in fact, what this team needs to do, and I can't believe I keep giving the New York Giants credit, but the Giants decided we got nothing to lose, man. They went from running the ball 37% of the time to run the ball 63% of the time. They changed their identity back to what they were known for, which was a running game. And they got a win in Denver. They literally kicked the crap out of Denver. Deion Sanders marked the legend. I don't think so, but I appreciate that. Daniel, yes, you were right. I was wrong. Let me go ahead and say that, Daniel. You were right. The Giants kicked butt in Denver. Slow clap for you, Daniel. But here's the thing. We need to take a lesson from that because the NFL is constantly evolving play by play, quarter by quarter, game by game. Teams rise and fall. You have to keep people off balance, keep them guessing. What we've been doing is literally been trying to run Zeke Elliott into a brick wall. And teams are putting everybody in the box, and with our offensive line not having the consistency that they had last year, and with them doing run blitzing, as in shooting the gaps to make sure they're meeting him before he gets a chance to get ahead of steam on it. We keep trying to do the same thing. You see, boom. I would say 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but we haven't been getting 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It's been like getting hit at the line of scrimmage and getting maybe 1 or 2. What we have to do is we have to change the identity. You got Dak Prescott. You can roll him out and he's deadly. You've got some receivers. You have to stretch the field, use the pass to set up the run. Christian, where do I see the Cowboys going? My original prediction on this season was 10-6. I'm going to stick with that 10-6 record. Because when I look at the NFL, who can you tell me, honestly, in the NFL is a great team? New England is 4-2, but there's 2 games New England could have lost. They could have lost yesterday to the Jets, if it weren't for that last call. And if Tampa had a kicker other than Nick Folk, they would have lost that game too. Atlanta is 3-2. Their defense can't hold a lead. Seattle, they're up and down, and Seattle had the good old good team syndrome, which is when you're good, people take what you have, your free agents, your coaches, and things like that, and you get picked down, and you have players that you have to pay a whole lot of money, so you can't keep everybody. They're on the downhill side. They're still good, and if they're playing in Seattle, they're hell to beat in that jet engine. But they're not invincible. Green Bay, without Aaron Rodgers, well, they can tank, right? They're going to tank. Minnesota doesn't really have a quarterback. Sam Bradford may be career-ending. The Lions, who could have been 4-0 had it been for one call with the Falcons, are now 3-3. So they're not that good. You got Carolina, and looking at Carolina losing Kuechly, he's back in concussion protocol. He's been lost for long periods of time. With that, and Cam Newton having nobody who can hold on to the damn passes he throws. Literally, it's Cam Newton who is getting beat the crap out of. So I can't say that Carolina is all that. And then for you Eagle fans, there's the Eagles. Eagles are 5-1, but do you honestly believe that the Eagles are the best team in football? I know. They beat Carolina in Carolina. They beat the Cardinals, who are playing better now. They're 3-3, 3-2. I don't know. They're playing better. They beat the Redskins, but the Redskins really should have lost yesterday to the 49ers, as well as a lot of other teams, because the 49ers are close, but just not close enough. So when you look around the NFL, if you think the Cowboys are out of it, you don't know football. I won't even say that the New York Giants are out of it right now. Their defense plays the way they are right now, they will win some games. And 8-8, my friends, may just get you into the playoffs this year. And Tiffany, you're right. The Eagles have an easy schedule. So the question will be is, and they may end up winning the division. At the moment, they definitely have the schedule. They definitely have the wins. But you could look back at the 2014 season when they beat us, and they all but had the division won. But somehow, some way, they lost games down the stretch that we ended up winning, and we won the division. Didn't do anything with it, but we won the division. So it's not over. Brandon Green, how do I feel about a receiving core? Terrence Williams, God, I love the guy, but he's had a couple of brain farts and bad catches that have screwed us. Everybody needs to step up. Des Bryant needs to hold on to the ball better. He needs to run better routes. Cole Beasley finally had a good game. We saw some hot sauce last game. Jason Witten, well, he's the consummate professional. He always plays great. And Bryce Butler needs to be on the field more. So that's where I feel that we have good guys. So what I would say is, Jason Garrett, throw your regular game plan out the window. You got to stretch the field. You've got to try and get a couple passes to Dez deep to loosen up the defenses. You've got to go ahead and start moving the pocket, doing more rolling out, getting in space, getting it so that way defenses can't just tee off on just runs right up the middle. There are things you can do with Dak Prescott that you can't do with other quarterbacks. And you need to get creative to go ahead and just give them some time. It'll help out your running game. It'll help out your offensive linemen. And it'll get them on a roll. Second thing you got to do is, good Lord, you got to learn how to adjust. It seems like we keep coming out in the first half and playing great. And somehow, some way, coming out at halftime, all of a sudden we give up leads. What the hell is going on with that? We got to be able to adjust to what they're doing and figure out, okay, we can't just stick with what we're doing because they're going to adjust to it. We got to come out with something different. We got to coach better or else we can cancel the season. Brandon Green, Zeke Elliott. Here's the thing. The Texas court basically said, okay, I'm putting a stay on the suspension. The other court, which is a court that's higher up, said, no, we're going to throw that out. We're going to throw out the lower court's ruling. So then over the weekend, the lower court said, hey, wait a minute. They're applying for you guys to rehear it, so you guys can't suspend him until it's reheard. The other court said, no, actually we don't. But here's the thing. Even if they say, okay, Zeke's not suspended while we're waiting for him to hear it. Problem is, You're asking the same court who just ruled against you 2-1, to change their opinion. In New York, it's not going to happen. Thank you, Tony, for the shot for Joe Boo.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about Jim Joe? Yeah!
I appreciate that. We definitely need to get some mojo back. But here's the thing. 49ers should be a game that we can win. We got to win. If we don't win, don't cancel season. Just cancel it. Then we go on the road to take on the Washington Redskins. You win those 2 games, things look a lot different. Then we got the Falcons and Kansas City, I believe. Those are going to be a little tougher. But right now, let's focus in on getting a win from San Francisco. Only thing that matters right now. You know, Rick G, God, I hate to say this. I just don't like Jason Garrett as our head coach. I've just been so done for so long. When they fired Wade Phillips, I kept thinking, well, you're getting rid of Wade because you say the defense, but it wasn't like the offense was lighting up the world. I thought Jason Garrett should have gone then. And then we had the 8-8 seasons and stuff, and he gave up play calling. Okay, so he gave up play calling. And when you take that playoff record, when you're the number 1 seed, and you've had, Tony Romo balling out, you had the best running back in football twice, you're the number 1 seed, and you can't win? You can't go to the Super Bowl? Teams are doing it with a lot less. And I'm just sitting there thinking that you've got the players. You've got the home field advantage. When is it that we start looking at coaching? Because you can't just say the playoff record, because you might as well say those 8-8 years where if we had won those games, we would have been in. Those are playoff games. And Jason Garrett, he was never even offensive coordinator. And I don't understand why Jerry Jones believes that he is the guy. What has he ever done to prove that he is the guy? The New York Giants lost all of their weapons. Brandon Marshall. Odell Beckham. He's a pain in the ass, but he's still a fantastic wide receiver. Dwayne Harris. He had no offensive line. Yet he went to Denver and got a win. 2015, we still had a good running back. We still had wide receivers. We could only get 1 win without Tony Romo, and he got a pass. Huh? Can anybody explain that to me? Anybody? You're looking at teams that are constant losers that make a change of head coach, and all of a sudden they're playing good, like the Rams with a rookie coach that's only 31 years old. Buffalo Bills, rookie head coach. Atlanta Falcons, in his second year, goes to the Super Bowl. Yet, we keep waiting year after year after year after year for Jason Garrett. And it seems like if everything's not perfect, he gets a pass. And we know that since we've lost Zeke Elliott, he's going to get a pass. Oh, it's okay. You don't have your running back. But you got 52 other guys on the team. You're telling me you can't win with the Dak Prescott and Tyron Smith, Jason Witten? A lot of teams are winning. They don't have a running back of the quality of Alfred Morris. I know our offensive line hasn't played as well as they did last year, but it's not like they are the worst offensive line in football. And I look back And I'm beating this dead horse. And I can't remember games that I can say, we won that because of Jason Garrett. And if somebody can remember a game that you can say, we won because Jason Garrett, did an onside kick in the Super Bowl. We won because he went for it in 4th and 1 for the win, and we won. I can't say that about anything that he's done. I think that the team has won in spite of him, not because of him. He doesn't call plays. He certainly doesn't discipline the players. When you ask a question, it's always deferred to Jerry Jones. And if it's Jerry Jones is the one who is holding him back from being a coach, then Jerry, it's on you. Then you need to get in. If you're happy with what we've been doing all these years, I know you're getting paid. I know you're the most valuable sports franchise in the world. But don't you want to hold that trophy up again? Don't you want to stand there while that confetti goes off at the Super Bowl and basically put it in the face of the rest of the NFL again, Jerry? Because if you do, you're going to have to get in a coach who can coach, who can get fire, get these guys to piss fire, get these guys motivated to run through a brick wall that gets his attitude. Because I got to tell you, players emulate their coach. You don't think it's true? Jason Garrett is. How much emotion do you see out of there on our team? How fired up do you see out there? You don't. They play sometimes just like Jason Garrett, the clapper. I want to see some emotion out there. I want to see somebody stick somebody and stand over them and say, like, yeah, I just knocked you the F out. You're going to run in here, you're going to pay because it's coming all day long. An identity that puts fear in other teams. We ain't got that. And I'm not sure what our identity is. And Devin, you're probably right that Jerry Jones wants a puppet as head coach because it's Jerry Jones's plaything. And he's rich enough and old enough that he can do what he wants with it. But my question to Jerry Jones, and if anybody knows Jerry Jones, ask him this for me. Do you want to hold up that Super Bowl again? Do you want to be the NFL champion? To get that 6th ring? Because I got to tell you, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and expect getting another result, it's the definition of insanity. And we've been banging our heads every year with Jason Garrett. And it hasn't been like we've been the Cleveland Browns without talent. We've had some great players that have come through here. So, Jason, this is for you, buddy. I hope you prove me a complete idiot, jackass, and asshole. I hope that you can come out and do a masterpiece. That you can get this team to rally around you and piss fire. To go out there and execute, not give up leads. To go out there and kick some ass and make a run for the show. I will gladly say to the world, I was wrong. I am a freaking idiot. That you are the man. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Jason Garrett. Please prove me wrong. Jay Farm, you're right. A career backup quarterback. Yeah, but as my son, he's got 3 rings. Yeah, well, I'm not sure he'll get a 4th. Well, the question is, after going through 4-12 and Jason Garrett still being here, what would it take for him to be gone? Does he have some pitches compromising Jerry Jones or something or other? Because I don't understand it. Bill Collar, he's been out of football, Chris, but you know what? I'll take his attitude anytime. Lord knows we've had Rod Marnelli here who, he's about as old as dirt. Like the guy. He is fantastic with defensive linemen, getting the most out of them, but I'm not sure about our defense. I know we haven't spent a lot of money on our defense. We've been working on it, but you're right, Thomas. It is like I'm talking to the wall. And it's kind of like the same thing with Jason Garrett. We keep running to the wall. Sarah, you got me. Thank you, of course, always for showing up. Why is the richest franchise in the world can't hire the best coach? I don't know. But Jerry has this thing for Jason Garrett. I don't know. Maybe Jason Garrett is really his son, and he doesn't want anybody to know about it. And this is his way of letting them know, hey, I love you, son. I don't know, but there's got to be something more that we don't know. Jordan, though, but here's the thing, though. You've had look at Denver. John Fox took him to the Super Bowl, and he got fired. And they brought somebody in. So, yeah, two teams. What good did it do? Here's the thing. The Cowboys do shit that nobody else does. We've lost 2 games at home back-to-back after scoring 30 points. It's never happened before in football. We've been the number 1 seed twice and lost the first round. Twice. Doesn't happen. Dallas Cowboy football news. Thank you very much.
The only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Dallas Cowboy News, your channel is on Facebook. Thank you very much for the super chat, man. I appreciate that. We'll have to check out your football news. That sounds cool. How about, here's the thing. Jalen Smith may pan out. How about them Cowboys? But unfortunately, we were in a position where we had to ask a lot of him because we had nobody else. I think Jalen Smith can be better, but his body's just not ready for it yet. Oh, geez. Up we boys, you're right. We have wasted a lot of good years with Jason Garrett, but he's not going anywhere this season. Only thing we can hope for is that somehow, some way, things change and the light bulb comes on. Well, thank you, Brian. I'm not really prepared for tonight because I literally walked in the door, came down here, hooked up the computer, and got on here. So I'm just kind of. I have no notes. I've got nothing to go off of. I'm just kind of taking the cue here, and it's kind of like I've been doing this for so long that it would be weird not to have a Monday night show. Thanks, Dallas Girl. Dallas Girl, thank you so much because you are always in here and you're always smacking it down on the trolls and everything else, and I appreciate the support. Just like you ignore me, Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett ignore me. How does it feel? Doesn't feel good, does it? No, it doesn't feel good. I appreciate how about the Cowboys. It's actually good to have some people from the other side to have a little bit of banter. I got beat down by a few Eagle trolls in here whose every other word is a cuss word, and they say I'm blocking them, and it's just basically the algorithms that I have set on here. I got no problem with people coming in and telling me I'm an idiot, but keep it clean because we do have a lot of people in here that aren't here to hear a whole bunch of cussing and trash talking. There's plenty of channels you can go to just trash talk. I'm the first one to tell you when I'm wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong. And if I screw up, I screw up. I'll tell you that.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Thank you very much, Rob, on that. I appreciate that. How about them Cowboys? Before I go, I want to make sure that you guys know I do a lot of work with United Way. We've got actually till December. Okay? The Super Bowl package dream trip of a lifetime between United Way and the NFL. It's a $10 donation, and you get 10 opportunities at this thing. And I'm telling you guys, people win. I told you guys before the draft, I said, look, I need you guys to go here and make a donation and enter this contest because I didn't want to spend it with the New York Giant fan. That's right. I was at the draft in Philadelphia covering a New York Giant fan. Do you know how hard that is for a Cowboy fan? First of all, to be in Philadelphia, in that trashy-ass city, and then to be covering a Giant fan. I still had fun, though. But still, it would have been more fun if it had been one of you guys. So let me go ahead and show you guys about the sweepstakes. Hey, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. Now, guys, here's an opportunity to win the ultimate Super Bowl package with Prizio, United Way, and the NFL. Now, I got to tell you guys, this is like the dream trip of a lifetime. We're talking about airfare to get you to Minnesota, as well as 2 club-level seats. Now, if that wasn't enough, we're talking about tickets to the NFL PA party. And I'm talking about players galore. DeMar Smith knows how to party. Believe me, I've been there and seen it, and you definitely don't want to miss it. Of course, there's going to be tickets for the NFL Commissioners Party where all the owners will be there. Jerry Jones will have his own table. I got to meet him there last year as well. There's also, you're going to be at the press conference for the halftime show. And pre-game sideline passes. That's right, pre-game sideline passes. We're talking about a can't-buy opportunity. And on top of it, the best part is you're supporting United Way and Character Playbook, helping the next generation. So, guys, all you got to do is go to Prizio.com, /campaign, /Cowboy Joe Boo, and you can enter it. Now, look, for $10, you get 100 chances of winning. For $75, you actually get a t-shirt as well as 750 chances. So go ahead, guys, hit this link right here, check it out, and enter so that way you can help spread that mojo, and maybe you guys can be there at the Super Bowl. Now, I got to tell you, a lot of you will say, nobody ever wins these things. It's a waste of time. I'm going to get spammed. But I got to tell you, I told you guys back before the draft, go to this whole site, deal with doing the whole thing, and you guys would have the opportunity to go to the draft. But not enough of you guys did it. I ended up going there and covering the winners. Some New York stinking Giants fans. That's right, I had to spend the draft with some New York stinking Giant fans. Now, guys, there would be nothing worse than having to spend the Super Bowl with somebody other than a Dallas Cowboy fan. So this is your opportunity to be covered by Joe Boo at the Super Bowl. Hey, it's worth a shot. I'm Mark Holmes. I'm Cowboy Joe Boo, and I'm hoping I'm covering you at this year's Super Bowl. So that's the contest. It is legitimate. It will go to a good cause. United Way does a lot of great things throughout the country and actually throughout the world. Long-term disaster relief and things like that. I've been in New Orleans and done some different projects. They're probably going to be, I shouldn't say any of this yet, but in Houston, there's going to be some community rebuilds and things with NFL players that'll be going on in Texas as well as Florida and stuff. So I kind of know that because I know some of the stuff behind the scenes, but I can't say it. But there's going to be all kinds of stuff that they're going to be doing, as well as the good old, God, I've got a brain fart, as well as what, forgive me, guys. But anyway, United Way is actually really, really good, and they do a lot of great things. So if you buy lottery tickets, your odds for this are 100 times better. So go through there, make a little donation. You know, if you go up to $75, you actually get a Cowboys t-shirt, and you've got 75 chances to win. So do that, guys. It's a good thing. Somebody asked a question if the Eagles are peaking too soon. Well, you want to be playing your best football at the end of the year. We've gone to show that, haven't we? The way teams are rising and falling, you can't expect the Eagles to be playing on the level that they've been playing week after week after week. And if they keep letting Carson Wentz get hit a lot, as we saw with Aaron Rodgers, you lose your quarterback, you're lost. So it's possible, although they do have an easier schedule than most because they were in the base of last year. Only time will tell because football is unpredictable. Okay. Um, EDP is a slob. Okay. EDP, unfortunately, every time you put a cuss word on, it ends up getting blocked. So if you want to make a say something about Jerry Jones, comment, just say Jerry Jones stinks. Jerry Jones sucks. But once you put the cuss words in it, unfortunately, it'll get blocked. Well, here's the thing with Navarro Bowman. For him, think about it. He lives in San Francisco. To play for the Raiders, it's just across the bay. He doesn't have to move. He doesn't have to sell his house. He doesn't have to uproot his family and stuff. And, it's a lot easier than going someplace else. So, he was going to give them the first right of refusal. A 1 year, $3 million deal was good enough for him to stay at home, basically. So, I can't say that that was anything we did or anything, but, it is what it is. Yeah, we definitely need Taco to show up. But the problem hasn't been. Here's the thing, though. Everybody's giving Taco, a lot of grief and stuff. But here's the thing. It's not like we've got stiffs that are playing on our defensive line. We actually have some really good play on our defensive line. The fact that you've got DeMarcus Lawrence with 8.5 sacks. The fact you have David Irving coming back and getting 2 sacks right there. Tyrone Crawford got a sack last game. You've got Collins in there with 2.5 sacks. That's a lot of production across that defensive front. So for a rookie to break into that, he's going to have to play it really, really well. And I'm not sure that I'm looking to take any of those guys out. Now, more than likely, we're going to be playing that Deacon defense where you basically have 3 pass rushers. And you're looking at, unfortunately, since Stephen Paya retired, we don't have a true number one that's really that great. That's why they ended up putting David Irving actually there as that number one technique. Although he's a little light for that spot, but he's so big, he's so tall that he played really, really well. But we'll be playing that Deacon defense where it's basically 3 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and then everybody else is a defensive back. 6 of them back there. And what that does is having so many cornerbacks in there in that zone, it's hard for somebody to be open. And eventually that gives a pass rush enough time to try and get work upfield. Yeah, and Goldstein, and I think you're going to notice with Sean Lee back that defense is 100 times better. Because if you remember, our early games against the Giants and our second game, it was our defense that was really making up for our offense because our offense wasn't that good to start out with. Yeah, to be honest with you, I thought Bowman would have gotten more than $3 million. A Bick. I'm surprised that that's all it took for him to sign. Well, Brian Harper, 9-7 will get him in the playoffs. I predicted 10-6 because I knew it was going to be a tough season. Well, thank you, I am Infinite. I appreciate that, man. Like I said, tonight I wasn't really prepared, not really dressed for it, didn't have a chance to shave or do the hair or anything else. So you're seeing the real old ass me that's a little bit dusty right now. Rod Smith, I think, is definitely hungry. I actually love him coming out of the backfield in passing routes. I think he's actually going to be a baller. Overtime? Well, I was a little under time, so I'm actually going to get ready to get out of here because I actually haven't had dinner yet. Feed these young, hungry players. I agree with you. Sandman, I wish I knew. It's not Rod Martinelli's defense is not a bump and run. It's not a man-to-man type of a defense. It's a zone defense. A bend, don't break. Basically, keep everything in front of you and hope for a big play. The biggest problem with the defense is, even though we've been getting pass rushing, we've been getting pressure, for whatever reason, we just have not been able to get turnovers the last 2 years. And that's what's killed us more than anything else. If you can get a turnover here and there in a game, it makes all the difference in the world. You look at the 2 games we lost, those 2 turnovers definitely led to us losing those games. Terrence Williams' deflection, boom, they got 7 points right there. You look at Switzer's punt and a fumble deep in our territory, all of a sudden, easy score for the other team. If we don't make those mistakes, or if we get other ones to counter it, it's a totally different ballgame. But we have not had an interception in 3 games, and that's unbelievable. Colts are playing good tonight. I got to check that out.
They're playing Tennessee.
Tennessee is a pretty good team. They got a running game.
That's all they had. Neither one of them going.
Thanks. How about them Cowboys?
They're on the same division.
I am infinite. I don't know why they were talking about trying to get another running back. It's like, really? Why not a quarterback or a linebacker? Jordan Lewis is going. You can see that Jordan Lewis is going to be a baller. I love Jordan Lewis, and I love Xavier Woods. If they don't get Xavier Woods out there more over Jeff Heath, and it's kind of like, does Jeff Heath have something on them? Because I'm like, why is this guy still starting?
I thought he got hurt last time.
So Tennessee is looking awful. See, that's the crazy thing about the NFL. One week you can look fantastic. The next week you can look like hot garbage.
Do you know they play in the same division?
Yeah, they do. They're in that division stinks, and that's where I think Jacksonville has a good chance to win that division this year. Well, Switzer's Golston. I think Switzer is trying too hard. He wants to make a big play. You know, he missed a lot of training camp. He's finally getting out there on punt return. You know, and sometimes you got to realize it's better to just catch the ball and keep the thing going. Don't take those chances all the time and say he's young, he's dumb, and he wants to go ahead and show everybody he's fearless and what he can do. I mean, I love that, but you got to understand you can't make those mistakes. Rick G, 100% right there, man. And see, that's where coaching comes in. When you have all the distractions on the field. And that's the thing. God. Bill Parcells was the lightning rod. Bill Parcells took the heat off his players. That's not Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett will throw his players under the bus anytime. When I looked at that, our last game, we score with too much time left. You know, you're the coach. You got to tell Tony Romo, look, it's 4th and 1. We just want to get the first down. Don't change the damn play. Run the ball, get the first down, because if we score too quick, Aaron Rodgers will go down the field and beat us. Because his whole response was, well, Tony Romo changed the play. Why didn't you tell him, here's the situation that we're in. We want to score, but we don't want to leave any time for Aaron frickin' Rodgers. We did the same thing against Aaron frickin' Rodgers last year. Dak, we want to keep the clock running. We want to get the field goal, and we don't want to leave any time on the clock. Oh, that was the playoffs. And it should have been the same thing. Dak, listen, we got to get a touchdown to win this game, but we got to make sure that we take as much time off the clock as possible. That's what a coach does. A player is in there battling. He's sweating like crazy. He's out of breath. He's looking at everything that's going on the field. You got to be in his ear. You have the headphones. Say, Dak, take a deep breath, buddy. We want to score, but make sure we got timeouts. Let that clock roll down a little bit before you call it play. We don't want to pass in the end zone and stop the clock. It's 2nd and 1. We want to run the ball. That's what a coach does, and that's where we need him. We need a coach that right now that's dealing with the whole Zeke Elliott situation that needs to take control of the team. When there's a guy who's out there drunk driving like Nolan Carroll did, he needs to be out there saying, you know, other than we're disappointed in him. If I hear one more time, we're disappointed in him. It's just like, you freaking Little League coach. Good game, Johnny. Good game. We'll get him next time. Put a foot in somebody's ass. I would love to see him up there and say, Green Bay is who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook. You want to crown them? Crown their ass. Pull a Dennis Green on them. Come on, do something. Every freaking press conference the same. Jason Garrett leaning on the podium. Well, you know, we'll have to look at that. You know, you don't want him to be able to have that much time going down the field and scoring on that because he's a great player. And, you know, our guys competed. And, we played really well. In the end, we just didn't get out of here with that garbage, man. Be pissed off. God. I just wonder what it would take for Jerry to finally say, you know what, it's time for me to move on. What it will take, I would like to know. Yeah, David, he iced our own kicker. He lost to the Detroit Lions not once but twice after being up 21 points and throwing the ball where Tony Romo threw a couple of picks, making Bobby Carpenter, a failed pick of ours, look like a Hall of Famer. He lost to Green Bay Packers not led by Aaron Rodgers, no, led by Matt Flynn, being up 26-3 at halftime. How do you lose when you're up 26-3 against a backup quarterback? You throw more than the team that's trying to catch up with you. Yeah. And it's always his Princeton pedigree where he actually acts like he's smarter than everybody else, but it seems like the only person he outsmarts is himself. Yeah, everybody's talking, but you're right about Joseph, that everybody is Wentz happy. Wentz. You remember last year that everybody was talking about the Wentz bus until the wagon wheels fell off? So, we'll see. It's still early. Bryant wouldn't help. Everybody keeps. It's funny how when anybody's big name is out, everybody thinks Cowboys should get him. Cowboys should get him. Bryant's not going to help us. To trade for him costs a hell of a lot. Unless he can play linebacker, I don't need him. I like that, Thomas. Jason Garrett's Super Bowl is being the Cowboys coach. Elliott, well, had to work late tonight, and so I'm kind of running a little bit late on here. I'm really not prepared for the show, but I feel like I have to do it. Barbara Smith, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. I don't remember seeing you here before. Adrian, thanks. Brian smokes too much weed. Yeah, that's another thing we don't need here. Clean houses with the coaches. I wish we could, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, and that's the thing, Rick G, that Sean Lee doesn't get a whole lot of respect, but Sean Lee was second in tackles last year. Sean Lee is a quiet linebacker, but he has been a beast the last 2 years. Banks, that's Banks Nerf Network. I agree with you. I would love to see John Gruden, if for no other reason, for him to just get pissed off at some guys on the sideline. Hey, Reckless, how you doing? At this point, I think the best thing is Zeke. I mean, he's already suspended. It's not like he can't show up for the next 6 weeks. I would just kind of say, you know what, just eat it now. It's done. There's nothing else that we can do. Just get it over with, and let's get in our rearview mirrors. He definitely got screwed by the NFL. Yes, Xavier Woods, I think, should definitely be starting over Jeff Heath. Joe Booth should be starting over Jeff Heath. Eric, really going to ask if I think Jason Garrett should get fired? That's an easy one if you ask me. I'm showing this character of a. Okay. Well, thank you, Rick. Joshua, great points. I'm actually interested. Here's the thing. I'm actually interested to see Alfred Morris in extended time right now. Zeke just did not have it this year. And I think a lot of it is all the crap that's been going on that I think it's in his head, because I'm sitting here looking at it, and you take that fourth quarter away from Green Bay, he hasn't done much all season. 3.7 yards per carry. And we keep trying to force them in there. To me, the offensive line is part of it. Don't get me wrong. The offensive line is not opening, mile-wide holes like they did before. Excuse me. But there's some holes there, and it seems like he's late getting to there, or he's hesitating to get there. And it just seems like it's just not quite there. And I'm hoping that, maybe if he sits down now, gets this behind him, that he'll come out and be beasting. In the meantime, you change things up a little bit. Put Alfred Morris in there. Change the offensive game plan around a little bit and try something different. Sarah, you got a great point though. It's not, and I'm not putting it all on Zeke Elliott because, like I said, I know it's the offensive line, but there have been holes there where I'm looking at him and Zeke would have gotten, he may have gotten 3 or 4 yards. Last year, it might have been going to the house had he had a step or so better. James, I'm with you. I'd like to see somebody with a killer assassin, attitude. Joseph, I hope that Dak doesn't get the Romo treatment. Basically it's Dak and it's all on Dak. But Eric, I think Dez and Dak are going to click a little bit better. The one thing about Dez is Dez has never been a great route runner and being disciplined, and that's the problem that they have. Dak is so used to it being like boom, 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 but it's supposed to be. You have to kind of improvise a little bit with Dez because Dez isn't going to be in the exact same spot 2 times in a row. Fernando, and I agree with you completely that I think that this whole suspension thing has been, bothering him. And that's why I said at this point, just get it over with, and then that way it's behind you. And then you can focus back on football. Well, guys, I have been overtime here a bit. It's 10:20. I got to get my ass up and go to work in the morning and work again tomorrow night. So I am going to have to end this. I appreciate everybody showing up. I'm sorry I started out late, but life gets in the way sometimes. But I have hope for this week. Hopefully we have a good, quiet week of practice, and the Cowboys can get themselves together against the 49ers. And if they can win that one, maybe we can start getting on a roll. The 2 losses hurt, but we got to keep in mind that they are both against 2 good teams. It wasn't like we lost against scrubs. And there are also 2 teams that had extra rest from, against us. So let's not say that the team just sucks completely. Let's look at the whole situation and see where we go. If we come out of the bye week and we look like garbage, well, then that's a different story. But as always, I want to thank you guys for all the support and everything that you guys do, because you guys are making me become a better YouTuber. Have a great night and a great week, and any news on the Dallas Cowboys, I'll be sure to bring it to you.